Hi, I'm JJ Gonson from Cuisine en Locale. Today we're going to be making double stuffed baked potatoes, a completely awesome snack and great side dish to impress your friends. What you're going to do is you're going to start with your potatoes. Don't peel them. You need those skins. That's what you put all the yummy in. So instead of peeling them, if they're grubby, you can give them a little scrub. I really like this kind of scrub brush. I usually just run them under water, give them a little scrub, make sure all the dirt's gone, and then put them on a baking sheet and throw them in the oven at 350 degrees. Most potatoes, depending on their size, are going to run about an hour to get soft enough in the middle for you to be able to do what you need to do with them to make them perfecto. Okay, your potatoes are all nice and roasty, toasty. And you can tell that they're ready because the outsides have gotten kind of crisp and yummy. And when you squeeze them, they give a little bit. You can kind of feel that they're no longer solid all the way through. So you know that they're ready for mashing. The kind of potato that I use today is called a Red Bliss. And this is a relatively small potato. These are good if you're doing like an appetizer size. But you could also do this with, they mash really well, Idaho potatoes, the big brown ones. They're a lot more floury. These are more waxy. You could use little medium-sized Yukon Gold potatoes. They all have a different flavor. They all have a different personality. They all work for this recipe. Today I'm just using these little ones, but I've done it with all of these things. So cutting them in half, depending on the size of your potato, you're going to want to decide what you want to scoop the middle out of. My favorite tool is this. This is a melon baller. And for this tiny little potato, this small side of the melon baller is really perfect because when you're making double stuffed potatoes, it's very important to leave some potato around the edge so that when you put the filling back in, you have something to hold on to. The skins are quite thin. So I'm just scooping out the very most middle section, and with this wonderful melon baller, which has a nice thin, sharp lip to it, so you can really get in there and get the flesh out. Another thing that you can use to scoop is if you have a good ice cream scoop, like this one if you're using really big Idaho potatoes, but I mean, obviously that's not going to work there. Also, if you have a nice round, sharp tablespoon or teaspoon measure, that'll work well if you don't happen to have the real deal with the melon baller. I'm going to switch to the larger side of this melon baller now because I'm going for a bigger potato. Ooh, see, I got really close to the edge there. You want to be careful about that because if you leave the skin too thin, again, you won't be able to pick it up. You've shelled all your little potatoes and you have all your potato skins here. And this mix is basically mashed potatoes. So different people like different things in their mashed potatoes. I'm going really ultra rich here. I have creme fraiche and buttermilk, which are pretty intense flavors, but you could use even a little bit of water if you want to keep the calories down, some butter, regular milk is fine. A lot of people like sour cream in their potatoes. Creme fraiche is kind of giving it that same sort of slightly sour flavor. So this is really something where you can kind of feel it out and do it however you want. I like these a lot with cheddar cheese grated into them as well, but I'm resisting that temptation today. So I'm adding to, what I have here is about a cup of potato filling, I would say, and I've added about a tablespoon of creme fraiche and about a quarter of a cup of buttermilk. I might want to go back and add a little bit more after I mash this. I'm not a great fan of the classic potato masher. It's never really made sense to me. It's flat, and that doesn't really work for me. I love a good firm whisk. Fork, that works too. But I like a good firm whisk. And the thing about potatoes is that they have a funny starch that if you break it, they get gluey. So you have to kind of you can't really throw potatoes into like a Cuisinart or a food processor because that will break that starch and you'll end up with this wallpaper paste instead of delicious whipped potatoes. So what I'm doing is I'm going around and I'm giving these potatoes each a little bit of love, but I'm not really, going and crushing each one completely because I don't want to get them too sticky. And these potatoes, which are Red Bliss, again, are a little more waxy, which means that they're more likely to get gluey on me. So I want to be careful that that doesn't happen by not over-processing them. Then I'm going to get back in there with my fork and just give them a little mix. I could just eat this like this. I'd be so happy. So yummy. And I'm going to season it lightly. I've got a little bit of salt. And this is a blend of pepper that has some white peppercorn in it as well as black peppercorns. I like pepper, so I just go a little heavy on the pepper, but you can season to taste, as they say. I'm going to reach behind me and grab this baking pan and put my skins on it. And of course you have enough potato to fill the skins plus a little because you took it out of the potatoes, so you know you have enough to put it back. And I'm going to use my melon baller again. It's a good size. So I'm going to take a little scoop and put it back in there. Today, with my luxurious combination of creme fraiche and buttermilk, I'm topping them with Bailey Hazen blue cheese. This is, I love this blue cheese in general, but I also really think this is a nice sort of twist on the classic game day potato skin. Mix it up a little bit. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this pan and I'm going to put it back in the oven at 350 degrees for about 20 minutes. And they're back out of the oven, nice and hot and toasty. I actually, at the very end, popped them under the broiler for a minute just to get a little bit of extra brownness on the top there. But there they are, all nice and melty and delicious, ready to be snacked on during the game, put by the side of a nice big steak maybe, or perfect for the kids' dinner. Enjoy.